What is at the core of every argument you will ever have with your partner? The simple answer is fairness. Is this fair to me? What you're doing, what you're not doing, what you're seeing, what you're not seeing, how are you treating me? Every one of us has a fairness calibrator in our heads. It's been studied over and over again. If you're standing in line at the grocery store and someone comes up and cuts you in line, a little voice in your head is going to say, hey, that's not fair. Even if they only have one item and it will only delay you by 2 minutes. We have this built-in system that helps us organize socially. It's the reason why we've been able to scale our civilization. It's the reason why 50,000 people can sit in a stadium, share food, share restrooms, and behave peacefully for the most part. I know occasionally it gets out of control, but our social norms around fairness are so powerful and important. We also have laws that keep at least most people in check if they're not behaving fairly. If someone steals money from you, you can call the police and they will try to figure out what happened so that they can find that person and get them into a courtroom so that a judge or a jury can decide what's fair. And our system works pretty well compared to other countries. I've traveled all around the world and I've seen what America has and what some countries don't when it comes to overall human well-being. So that's the macro level of fairness. But what about the micro level? It's just you and one other person, where almost everything's at stake. I'm talking about a long-term committed partnership where you share resources, plan your lives together, delegate household duties, manage sickness, parent children, all of that. The one thing you're going to notice if you've lived with a partner longer than a year or two is that there are so many opportunities to feel like things are unfair, especially when our standards start so high. We want this person to add value to our life on a consistent basis forever. We want to feel like we're getting a good deal. So something as small as walking through the door and not getting a hug, a smile, a kiss, a how was your day can feel unfair. Maybe you did that for them yesterday and they missed you today. Now you're feeling some type of way. To complicate this even further is that most couples start their relationship with a period of time that is really good. There's a lot of attention, intention, novelty, joy, quality time spent together. It can be exciting just to get to know each other. I often hear couples reference this time. They want to get back to that time. And I often tell clients the tough news that you will never get back to that time. You can't unwind your memory of all the inevitable pain and struggle that comes from two people living their life together. You will go through stuff, they will go through stuff, and you're not going to be 100% available to each other at all times. However, the good news is that we can grow our capacity more and more to hold all of that, to understand our partner's flaws, to understand what we do or don't do that hurts them, and to bond even more. If you think that you can just find someone that you're compatible with and feel really good with at the beginning of a relationship and then just put it on autopilot and not change anything, good luck. Growing your capacity to take on different viewpoints, to work with your own emotional state, to lean into being curious about your partner, that takes more work than most people realize. And for men, it can feel quite unnatural because men tend to be more logical, externally focused, and not emotional or inwardly focused. This is where I see a lot of men get confused. I'm looking out at my external world. We're clipping along. Things seem good to me, but my partner's feeling lonely or sad or angry. They don't get it. What changed? And what I hear, because I work with a lot of women too, is that women tend to set aside their needs in the beginning of relationships to be a good partner, be a good wife, be a good mother. They're conditioned to do that. Then at some point, they begin to wake up and see that they've lost themselves. They no longer know what they want because they've been focused on what everyone else wants and trying to keep them happy. And they realize realize this isn't working. It's not fair. It's not sustainable. So then they'll go to their partner and try to communicate that, sometimes directly, oftentimes indirectly. And if the response from their husband is, I don't get it, I don't want to do that, you're too needy, if he starts complaining about his feeling of unfairness, now we have a problem. And as these bids for connection and understanding go missed on both sides, our minds begin to craft a narrative. I'm not getting a good deal. This isn't fair anymore. For men, it can be, you've got the easier job, I've got the hard job. You're not attracted to me anymore. You don't adore me. You're mean, you're avoidant, you're resentful. Basically, you're the problem. And what many men don't see is that they played a part in the pattern. And a lot of times it's pure ignorance. They didn't plan on being an emotionally unavailable partner. They were never taught what that is. They don't know how to do it. Sometimes they set their life up in a way where they are physically unavailable because of work. They were taught how to do that. Work hard, make money, provide a good life for the family. Wife will be happy, happy wife, happy life. I get why that might be confusing. If you put monumental effort into providing for the family and you make vacations happen, you try to be available as much as you can be, what's the problem? To make sense of this, I want to introduce a term to you, which is emotional load. It's like the emotional weight or emotional energy of the family system. It's the energy that it takes to emotionally track, meaning pay attention to, emotionally regulate those in the home. So you could think about it this way. There's always an opportunity to do some type of emotional work in the home. It could be regulating your own nervous system or the kids or with your partner. That could look like asking them about their day, holding space for how they're feeling, validating them, getting curious about what they might need, maintaining eye contact, possibly affection. Those are things that create more connection and lighten the emotional load. And if partners understand how to co-regulate each other, meaning I'll tend to you some and you can tend to me some, or maybe we'll do this together, that creates a sense of fairness. It feels balanced. And that's not to say that there can't be a sequence to this. Sometimes one partner is really feeling down, so the other steps into a supporter role in hopes that their partner will be there for them when they need them later that day or the next day. But this is where the core of all arguments come from. Because if one partner feels like they carry more of that emotional load in the home and the other partner is oblivious or blows up the emotional safety in the home or shows that they don't really care over and over again, it can be really difficult to right the ship. Partners begin to lose trust in each other. A, it doesn't feel fair. And B, I don't trust that you will do what it takes to make it feel fair again. Or sometimes that there's just too much damage. I can't imagine trusting you again, even if you put in some work. Men often come to me with the same problem. Their wives are telling them that they want more, and men don't get it. More of what? Tell me exactly what to do, which is a great start, but it also misses the point. I write about this in my book. If you were partners of a company, equal partners, and let's say the culture of the company was really struggling, and one partner went to the other partner and said, hey, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. What that would mean is that the partner being asked would be the one that has to figure that out. They're still the ones ultimately in the know about what needs to happen. And there can be a little bit of that, but at some point, the more informed partner might look at the other partner and be like, dude, you have to figure this out on your own. I can't keep figuring it out for you. Go read a book, go get some training, find a mentor. I can't be the one who's always responsible to tell you what to do. And I see a lot of women doing this now. They're handing off that responsibility to their husbands, either consciously or unconsciously. Again, I don't think a lot of women have the language to explain what they're needing, but this is usually it. Men need to get informed. They need a place to practice. They need accountability because they didn't learn this growing up. Almost none of us did. We have to learn how to take care of our own emotional health so that we have the capacity to be there for others. And we also have to learn the skills to do this work. This usually isn't something you learn on your own. It's not like tinkering in the garage. Emotions are more of an art, and they don't always make sense logically. They don't need to be fixed. A lot of times they just need to be held with presence. And if this all sounds like gibberish to you, that might be your resistance coming up, that thing your wife complains about. So you could dismiss this, or you could get more curious. Ask your wife about some of these concepts. Listen to this episode again together. I love talking about this stuff with women and seeing the looks on their faces, because what I often hear is, wow, I'm actually really surprised that a man gets this. So do that if you have a partner. Listen to this together. See what type of conversation it sparks. We're always trying to figure out what's fair if we're getting a good deal. And you might want to be seen more in the ways that you try to show up for the family, the relationship, in the physical realm. And you might be missing the ways that you fail to show up in the emotional realm. So it's worth asking yourself this question, having this framework, because ultimately, I bet you do want it to feel fair for your partner. If you're a good guy, you want your wife to think that she's getting a smoking good deal in being with you. And that includes both the physical and the emotional. That's what I have for you guys today. If you're interested in working with my wife and I'll include links in the comments. And please like, subscribe, share if you think what I'm saying is valuable. Oh, and write a review. That'd be great too. I'll see y'all next week.